Welcome, Abhinav. It's not common for us to talk on Sundays.
Yeah. So it's been 4 years coming back to this summit. I guess 1 year I was mentee, and other years I was a mentor and a part of Rocket.Chat. I see very familiar faces and some new faces. It's great to see you all. Welcome, everyone. So I'm gonna talk about something that is a very hot topic today, and mentors, maintainers talk a lot about it, and I would like to share a perspective from a maintainer side to my fellow mentors as well as the aspiring contributors we have here. So I will be speaking about how we can build with and against AI. Some lessons we need to follow in modern open. I am an engineer at Rocket.Chat. Before that, I was a mentee under Rocket.Chat in 2023. I started to contribute in Rocket.Chat in around 2022. There I met a few people which I talked to them now also, like yeah, Devanshu, Singli, and it's been 4 years, 3 years, and I have been still in touch with them. Uh, like the previous speaker said, that you also find friends. So more than the work I did in GSOC, I am really glad that I found amazing friends out there in open source, and as well as my team in Rocket.Chat. Yeah, about that picture, I would also like you to be fit along with coding. I'll tell you about a popular or not so popular term that uh, was very popular in 1993. It was about the eternal September. There was a time when internet was very new and it was confined to a very close group. Then a company came called AOL, and it gave millions of users access to internet. So every the barrier to enter the internet just collapsed, and everyone was in internet, sharing their things, building new things, some good, some bad. So I think that's also happening with the advent of AI. And in today's world, the barrier to write code or to contribute has become so low that it has kind of surpassed the human ability to write code and generate the same contributions themselves. But what didn't change is the human effort to review the same contributions that we are getting in the open source, or in the closed source. That isn't changing, and it is having some effects our in our um, community, that we see a lot of spray and what is a spray and pray tactics, that we just write a prompt to create a PR, and we don't verify a lot of things, and the AI is so confident that we don't even try to review what the AI is generating, and we just create PRs, and what it is having effect on the maintainers and the open source repos, that the mentors here are getting a kind of denial of service attack or DDoS attack, and we have to go through all the PRs manually, because a PR can include a PR can certainly include a very good, you can say, contributions or a legitimate improvement that we want. But more than that, an AI generated code can have security issues, hidden bugs, and as a maintainer, we don't want to ignore the legitimate PRs. So we have in initial days we have to go through all the PRs, but that is having a kind of mental fatigue, or you can say fatigue or burnout, that we have to review all the PRs, and most of the PRs that is AI slope. So a lot of friends here can relate to this feeling. But I would like to say that the people present here don't fall under those category, because you can see in the gsoc.rocket.chat we have 300 contributors, and in this summit we see there are only 23 members. So I will say that you are already the human thing, the responsible, or we can say the curious minds that we want in our rocket chat, and we welcome, and any open source organization welcome. So it's really good to see human touch to the community. So that was the problem that I told you about, that maintainers are facing. And I wanted to talk about this issue because I am a part of the newsletter that we have for GSOC mentors. I guess you might be also a part of that newsletter, and we see that a lot of GSOC admins or open source maintainers complain or share about the things they are facing. They are facing after the adoption of AI, and how it's been affecting them, or the open source contributions have changed from the introduction of AI. So out of all those noise, how can we build against those noise? And so before I talk about things we can do, I would like to talk about the things that the AI has brought. Don't worry, I will talk about the good things too, but the bad things, they catch the attention. So that's why. So the vibe coding trap that we are seeing, like personally, what I have seen in both the proposals and the PRs is that both the proposals and PR, they sound very professional, even professional than the professionals that are actually working. And the PRs, they sound more professional than the engineers out here in any open source organization. But if you go deep into the PR or the proposal, you will see that you will catch after two or three paragraphs that this has been written by AI, because it's so easy. Uh, the AI starts with something that is very relevant to your prompt, and after the one or two paragraph, it just hallucinates and it starts to talk about something else that is not relevant to what you are trying to build. And mm, apart from this, there is another nightmare that a lot of closed or open source organizations are seeing recently, and you might have heard this in your social media as well, that most of the AI written code, I won't blame AI, but I would say most of the AI written code where the person who was behind that generation wasn't very careful, they include a lot of security issues or bugs. And we can see that there has been actual incidents of outages recently. For example, you might know about the Amazon case and the Cloudflare incidents. They were mostly related to the AI slop. It's not because AI is bad. It's because there was a disconnection between what AI generated and the human intervention or the human overview. So we have come to the point where human intervention or the human overview of on the tools is much more needed than before. So what can you do as a maintainer, or or even if you are working on your personal projects when you're using obviously AI? So there has been a new adoption in almost every company or organizations, that you can keep a file. It is generally called readme file, just for the agents or any AI that you use. Uh, it's not something new. We already have README files for open source organizations, for open source projects. You can find the README file in Rocket Chat as well, where we mention the guidelines to contributions, the pattern we follow. So same thing you can have for your agents that you use, and you really need to update that file regularly, because for example, when you are building something using AI, then you find a flaw with the approach of the AI. You just add the flaw and a guideline related to that and update your README, and you will see that as the time continues, the model or the agent will make the same will not make the same errors again and again. And as a maintainers, since we have some folks around from other organizations as well, we can see that there are new bots or tools that can help us to flag PRs that are spam, or that is AI slope, or the PR that has security risk, and that is just a spam. So what it will do is that it will take away a large part of the PRs that you're getting on your repo, and you can just focus on the PRs or in the contributions where you are actually needed. So it saves a lot of mental toll on you. One thing that is the proof of human intent. What it is basically when you raise a PR, and as a maintainer myself, I see that behind the AI generated code or the manually written code, I see that there is a person sitting behind who has generated a code, and it is actually according to him what he wanted, not according to what AI wanted. What I mean is that uh, behind every AI generated code, you know what the code does, and you are ready to back every line of code. So we see that behind every line of generated codes by AI, there is a person behind it who has tested it, who is accountable for the contribution. So it creates a kind of trust between the contributor and the maintainers, and it will increase your reputation in future. So we talked about how we can adopt defensive infrastructure, but we should also talk about how AI can be used in our advantages for progressive work, not just defensive work. So how you can use AI. This can be from a point of view of a contributor who is new to open source, or as well someone who is an experienced contributor and engineer. For me, what I do generally with AI nowadays is I use it a lot. More than writing code, I use it a lot to research about what I'm going to work on and what I'm going to build. For example, there is an issue that we find, and there it is related to read receipts. We have read receipts in Rocket Chat. So okay, time is continuing very fast. So we have read receipt on Rocket Chat, and I'm new to this feature, so I will just go to AI, and before asking it to write code for me, I will just ask them to explain how the things work at Rocket Chat related to read receipts. And trust me, it is very good in researching on a already existing code base, and you gain some knowledge from it how it actually works. Then I will devise a plan that how I am going to fix the issue, um, and I will use the context that I have learned from the AI research previously. So now I have a plan. Now I have a plan. So what's the next thing? No, before I implement anything, I will use the plan and the context from already existing infrastructure to design before I just ask the AI to make the fix for me. And it always helps. You will see that if you have you will see that if you have a plan already with you and you ask AI to refine those plans, they are actually better than the case if you ask AI to generate everything for you. So that is human and AI working together. uh, and the next thing is the rubber duck method. So what it is not something new. It is basically you have a doll in front of you and you ask it, and you try to explain what you are going to build. So and while explaining, you will see that you you will realize in yourself that you are missing something, and what you are trying to do, it actually includes a bug or a loophole. So always do those. through ai through AI your solution, and self scrutinize your solution. They are very good in that, trust me. Now with the advent of AI, and AI working most of the things for you and you working along with the AI, we have a new social contract between the contributors and the maintainers. That is reputation over volume. With AI, the code has become commodity. It's a term coined by my friend Kevin here at Rocket.Chat. So AI, the code has become something that we can sell and buy, but and it has become really cheap. But what is important is your reputation. For example, you raised a PR and I found that it's slow. Maybe next time I won't want to review your PR, and I will just ignore all your future contributions. But if I see that you constantly engage con- in meaningful communications, and you stand behind your logic, and I see there is a human intent behind your contributions, and you really make the review process of the PR very easy for me, you are gaining trust and accountability, and your reputations is always increasing, and you trust me, it's the very important currency that you are going to have in open source in today, because contributors, they are in very large quantity, but trust and reputations, they are very hard to earn, and if you have earned that, you are going to shine, just like all the people that we have here in our meet today. And the last thing is, in 2026, we don't need more code, we need more accountability, we need more human engagement. We need folks that are behind the code, whether it is written by prompt or whether it is AI generated. They are standing behind everything they wrote, right? And that's all. So thank you everyone.